Hello, I wanted to spend a few minutes to illustrate how we can use IBM's Cloud Automation Manager to manage hybrid cloud environments or different cloud environments. My Cloud Automation Manager happens to be installed in IBM Cloud Private, where I've already logged in. And before we get to Cloud Automation Manager, I just wanted to show you a couple other things that I have running in this IBM Cloud Private environment. So if I take a look at some of the deployments we have here, we see there's several applications or several services that comprise specific applications. But let's take a look at the ones that have been exposed as services that we can access. So if I go to my Services tab, we see that there's still quite a few. And let's take a look at some of the variety of the applications that we have here. For example, I have Nginx installed. If I click on that one, we'll see that that's the port that it's been exposed on. And if I click there, we'll go to see my Nginx web server. Let's go back to Services and let's take a look at what else we have here. So I've also deployed WordPress as a native cloud application running in IBM Cloud Private. If I click there, we get to the sample WordPress site that has been set up for me. Let's go back to Services one more time, and I'll show you one more example of the. Here's the IBM's data science experience, and if I click that and go to that port, we see there's IBM's data science experience. So I show that just to illustrate, a wide variety of native cloud applications that I have running in IBM Cloud Private. But now I want to get into the Cloud Automation Manager deployment. So that is right here, Cloud Automation Manager. If I click that link, we'll show you that we go into Cloud Automation Manager running on my Cloud Private environment. So let's take a look at what's in Cloud Automation Manager. The first thing I want to do is show you that I've set up ahead of time some cloud connections. If I click there, I have two of them, one to the IBM cloud provider and one to Amazon EC2. I'm not going to set those up during this demonstration. They're pretty easy to do. If I open one up, you'll see that it just takes a couple of access keys to get there to set up the credentials. And I can just verify that they work by I'll click on the Amazon one and do a test connection. That'll spin for a second and show, yep, it'll validate that connection to Amazon EC2 is indeed working. Okay, now next let's go to the deployed instances, things that I've already deployed in Cloud Automation Manager. If I go to my deployed instances, we see that we don't have any yet. We're starting from scratch here, and we're getting ready to deploy something. So what do we have to choose from to deploy? Well, out of the box, we have several templates available to us, quite a few actually. The one that I'm going to use as a demonstration is this Amazon EC2 Ubuntu virtual image. If I click that and open it up, here's an overview of what that image entails. It's basically an Ubuntu image that's going to allow us to SSH into that server once we deploy it and it comes up in AWS. I mean in Amazon EC2. Okay, so before we deploy that, let's go take a look over at my Amazon EC2 environment. So I'm going to switch over here where I've already logged in. Let me click on my, EC2 environment and just take a look at what instances I might have. And we see that I don't have any instances deployed yet. We're getting ready to do that. Something else I want to show you ahead of time here is that under the Network and Security section in the security groups, you get a default virtual private cloud security group. There it is right there. But I want to show you one thing I've modified here. Out of the box, it allows this rule for all traffic, but interestingly enough, all traffic does not include SSH. So I modified this default security group and I added this inbound SSH access. So when we get that image up, this default security group will be in effect, and I will be able to SSH into it at that point. Otherwise, you have to do this after the fact, but I've already done that ahead of time. Okay, so we're almost ready to come back to the IBM Cloud Automation Manager and fill out that template to deploy this our Ubuntu image. But before we do that, let's do one other thing. We're going to need some public and private keys in order to access our image via SSH. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I'm open up a command prompt on my Mac here, and I'm going to enter the command to create this key pair. So there's the command there, and if I run it, we'll see that I have two files were created for me, a public and a private key. So we're going to leave those there for now, but we're going to come back to them in just a minute. So now we have all we need to come back here to the Cloud Automation Manager and deploy this template for the Ubuntu image. So here was back to the overview in Cloud Automation Manager. I'm going to click Deploy Template, and it will bring me up to a form here where I can provide some input values. The first one is the name of the instance. So let's just call this Eric AWS Ubuntu. There's the cloud connection that I showed you before, the fast start to EC2 that I've already set up, the region that it's going to. So a couple of things were filled in for me, but I need 4 more values here. The first one is the virtual private cloud name. So to get that, I can come over here into back into my AWS console, and I can click on my virtual private cloud setting. We see I have one VPC, and the name of it is Eric_VPC. So let's copy that right over here into this field. The second one is the subnet CIDR. So you can highlight that and see what that means, what the value is there. But let's come over here into my EC2 console again. Click on subnets, and this is the name with a value for that CIDR that it's asking for. So we're going to copy that value right here and put that back in here into the template. Okay, and the last two have to do with the SSH key names, the key and the key name. So let's go back where we created that, grab that key name right there, and we're going to put that into the name of the public key. And then we want to get the value, the actual key itself. So let's open up that file. And here it is. We want to copy the key all the way up until that last little bit where it says where it was created. We don't need that part. So we copy that. And we're going to paste that into the key value right there. So that's all we need to deploy this template for the Ubuntu image into AWS. So let's go ahead and click Deploy. And we'll see that it goes off and starts running. We see that it's in progress here. If we want to watch the log file, we can click the log file and see what's going on here. And we can also click back over to our Amazon console. Let's go back to the EC2 dashboard, and we'll click on the running instances, and we'll see right here is that Ubuntu image that is being spun up for us right now, initiated from the Cloud Automation Manager console. So we're going to pause for just a second and let that spin up. Okay, that just took about 3 minutes to 2 minutes to spin that up. If I click on it, here are the details on that image. We can see the status checks are still initializing, but the image is up and running. Here's its public IP address. Here's its host name. And now if I want to connect to it via SSH, if I click on this connect button right here, it gives me the information that I need. I'm just going to copy and paste. I paste that command in that command prompt. There's the key file, the name of the public key there. This is the host name of my newly created image. And if I say SSH to that, it's the first time I've connected to it. It asks me if I want to put an entry for this server in my trusted host. So I say yes, and it adds it, and there I am. I'm logged into a newly created Ubuntu image. If I say uptime, we'll see this image has been up for 2 minutes. But there we have it. I've created a Ubuntu image in AWS using IBM Cloud Automation Manager that was installed on my IBM Cloud Private environment. I hope you found this interesting. Thank you very much.